The biblical narrative of Sodom and Gomorrah serves as a cornerstone for understanding themes of morality and divine judgment within Judeo-Christian contexts. Described in the book of Genesis, these ancient cities are depicted as havens of sin, ultimately facing destruction by divine intervention due to their inhabitants' immorality and rampant wickedness. Understanding their historical and literary context is crucial for unraveling the broader implications these stories have on moral discourse and the interpretation of divine justice. The historical importance of Sodom and Gomorrah lies in their symbolic representation of ultimate moral decay and the severe repercussions of failing to adhere to divine laws. As part of the Abrahamic traditions, these narratives have influenced countless generations, serving as moral cautionary tales. They underscore the belief in a divine moral order that holds individuals and societies accountable, shaping discussions about ethical behavior and justice throughout history. In contemporary discussions, Sodom and Gomorrah are often referenced symbolically to critique perceived moral failings in modern societies. For example, some religious groups cite these stories to argue against what they perceive as societal degradation, drawing parallels between the ancient cities and current trends they view as immoral. Additionally, the narrative is sometimes used in legal and political debates about the role of morality in lawmaking, illustrating how interpretations of ancient texts can influence contemporary governance and societal norms. Opinions supporting the continued relevance of Sodom and Gomorrah's lessons often come from religious leaders and scholars who emphasize the necessity of moral vigilance and adherence to ethical principles. They argue that these narratives are timeless reminders of the consequences of moral neglect and the potential for divine retribution. However, the interpretation of Sodom and Gomorrah is not without controversy. Critics argue that the literal reading of these texts can lead to exclusionary or punitive attitudes, often targeting marginalized groups. Alternative viewpoints suggest a need for more nuanced understandings that separate cultural from moral critiques, advocating for interpretations that focus on broader ethical principles rather than specific moral judgments. Understanding the story's context enriches discussions about morality and judgment by connecting these ancient narratives with contemporary issues, allowing for a deeper reflection on how historical texts continue to influence moral frameworks today. These themes permeate discussions of ethics in religion, law, and culture, demonstrating the enduring power of narrative to shape human understanding and societal development. The heading, Sodom and Gomorrah, Exploring Morality and Judgment, invites a nuanced examination of moral values and divine judgment as depicted in the biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah. In this context, morality refers to the differentiation between right and wrong or good and evil behaviors, often guided by religious, cultural, or personal principles. Judgment involves the evaluation or discernment of actions, frequently leading to rewards or consequences. Within the story, these cities exemplify the consequences of moral decay and divine judgment, where their destruction symbolizes divine retribution for perceived wickedness. The significance of this point lies in its exploration of the ethical and theological implications of moral behavior and divine intervention. The narrative serves as a cautionary tale about the potential repercussions of collective immorality, functioning as a moral lesson intended to guide behavior in accordance with divine will. By understanding the interplay between morality and judgment, individuals and societies can reflect on their values, choices, and the potential long-term outcomes of their actions. One real-world application of this concept can be seen in legal systems, which often serve as societal mechanisms for moral judgment. Laws are designed to uphold ethical standards, and judges serve as arbiters, enforcing consequences for those who violate societal norms. Another example is in environmental ethics, where the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah is sometimes used metaphorically to discuss the consequences of neglecting ecological stewardship, warning that unsustainable practices could lead to catastrophic outcomes. Supporters of this idea argue that the story underscores the importance of adhering to ethical principles, promoting justice, accountability, and societal harmony. However, potential challenges arise from differing interpretations of the narrative. Critics may question the fairness of collective punishment or the emphasis on fear-based morality. Alternative viewpoints also suggest that the story should be understood allegorically rather than literally, emphasizing personal transformation and compassion rather than vengeance. This exploration of morality and judgment connects to broader themes such as justice, accountability, and ethical governance. It invites reflection on how narratives shape cultural values and influence actions, encouraging individuals and societies to strive for moral integrity. As the story of Sodom and Gomorrah continues to inspire debate, it underscores the timeless relevance of examining the intersections between morality and divine judgment, prompting ongoing dialogue about how best to navigate complex ethical landscapes. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is a significant narrative found in the book of Genesis in the Hebrew Bible. It details the destruction of two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, as a divine judgment due to their inhabitants' sinful behavior. Central to the story are key figures such as Abraham, who pleads for the city's salvation, and Lot, Abraham's nephew, who resides in Sodom. Two angels visit Lot to warn him of impending doom, instructing him and his family to flee without looking back. Ultimately, the cities are engulfed in fire and brimstone, consumed by divine wrath, with Lot's wife famously turning into a pillar of salt for disobeying the angel's warning. The significance of this story lies in its exploration of themes of morality, hospitality, judgment, and divine justice, making it a pivotal point for discussions on moral behavior and the consequences of wickedness. It serves as a reminder of the importance of ethical conduct and divine retribution in religious teachings. For example, the story is often cited in discussions regarding the moral decay and ethical failings of modern societies, using the fate of Sodom and Gomorrah as a cautionary tale. In legal and ethical discourse, the narrative prompts considerations of justice and punishment, influencing frameworks of moral conduct and legal judgments. However, the story is not without controversy. Some interpret it as a condemnation of specific sins, including sexual immorality, while others view it as a broader critique of inhospitality and societal corruption. Scholars and theologians often debate the exact sins that led to the city's destruction, highlighting varying interpretations across different religious and cultural contexts. Additionally, some view the narrative as a challenging representation of divine justice, questioning the morality of collective punishment and the implications for innocent individuals within corrupt societies. These differing interpretations influence broader topics of morality and judgment, emphasizing the need for nuanced understanding in ethical discussions. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah continues to provoke thought on the balance between justice and mercy, individual and collective responsibility, and the role of divine intervention in human affairs. It serves as a foundational narrative that resonates through theological, ethical, and social reflections, shaping discussions on the nature of punishment, redemption, and the pursuit of moral integrity in diverse contexts. The heading, Sodom and Gomorrah, Exploring Morality and Judgment, invites us to delve into the tale of two ancient cities whose story has become an emblematic narrative about divine judgment and moral transgression. At its core, the concept of morality here is bound to the adherence to societal and divine laws, while judgment represents the consequences of breaching these moral codes. The significance of this point is profound, as Sodom and Gomorrah serve as a powerful metaphor for the dangers of moral decay and the severity of divine retribution. The story, found in the book of Genesis, is often cited to illustrate the principle that societies face existential risks when they deviate from fundamental ethical norms. It highlights the tension between free will and moral responsibility, prompting reflection on human behavior and its alignment with higher ideals. For example, the tale of Sodom and Gomorrah is often applied in ethical discussions to assess societal values. One real-world application is its influence on laws and cultural norms that emphasize the importance of hospitality and kindness, as the cities were condemned partly for their mistreatment of strangers. Another application can be seen in religious teachings, where the narrative serves as a cautionary example against moral laxity, influencing sermons and moral instruction across various faiths. Opinions supporting this idea argue that the story offers timeless lessons about the consequences of rejecting ethical conduct. Many religious scholars view the narrative as a divine reminder to uphold justice, compassion, and respect, foundational elements for societal harmony. However, the story is not without controversy or alternative viewpoints. Critics argue that interpretations have sometimes been used to justify intolerance or discrimination, particularly concerning sexual morality. Some contend that the focus should be more on social justice issues like inhospitality and oppression, rather than on personal moral failures. This narrative connects deeply to other aspects of the topic by raising questions about the nature of divine justice. How does one reconcile a loving deity with the severe punishment of entire cities? This tension influences theological debates and underscores the balance between justice and mercy in religious teachings. In exploring morality and judgment through the lens of Sodom and Gomorrah, we confront age-old questions about the essence of ethical living and the potential repercussions of moral neglect, prompting introspection on both individual and societal levels. The story remains a potent reminder of the potential consequences of deviating from moral principles and serves as a foundational narrative for discussions on ethics and justice.